It's the second race of the weekend. You know what that means. It's the sprint race, and we are here at Spa once again to do it all again. And this time we have the very definition of a sprint race today, because it is only going to be 9 laps around this 4.2 mile circuit. Of course, the longest lap on the calendar being shorter race distances, even though it won't feel that short to these 22 drivers today on the grid. And if the feature race was anything to go by yesterday, we are in for another absolute classic, one can hope, because we had all sorts of things going on, especially at the start. We had 3 wide, we had a collision, we had the safety car deployed. I don't know how much we can actually get in 9 laps, but in 13 we certainly got a lot, and there isn't that much difference. So, it's Spa, you can always throw up the unexpected. Very much in the weather today, because we have another bright sunny day with blue skies. Anyway, let's go through the grid then. So it's Nikita Mazepin that will start on reverse grid pole, with Nobuhiro Matsushita alongside him. Robert Shwartzman will start third, alongside Dan Tickton. Artem Markelov and Yuki Tsunoda will be then followed by Aiden Jackson and Mick Schumacher, who had pretty much a race-long battle for the win. Schumacher came out on top with 25 points, Jackson got the fastest lap, so there he only had a loss of 5 points. It's 9 going into this one. Everyone from Noy Nassani down to Pedro Piquet will start where they finish. Pedro Piquet having an engine failure in the Charouz car, so that's why he's last. Guan Yu Zhou and Callum Ilott down in 20th and 21st today, because they had a real difficult feature race in just keeping some pace, especially Callum Ilott and Marino Sato, who had very below par races. And I wonder, we didn't really know why, but one can wonder if they had a problem in their cars, because they were very, very slow, considering they had made a pit stop during the safety car period and had fresh tyres. So either their tyres were really shot, or maybe there was other problems in that car, those cars in particular, that we weren't really to know about. So, that means Roy Nassani will start 9th, and Nikita Mazepin gets reverse grid pole. They were the 2 standouts of the feature race in terms of staying out of trouble was concerned, because we had all sorts of carnage at the start. We had we had 3 wide going down this very straight between Callum Ilott, Robert Shwartzman, and I think it was Marcus Armstrong, or even Aiden Jackson was in the mix. He got kind of boxed in. I think it was Markov actually. So we had 3 wide. Callum makes his way up to 2nd place. It might have been Tsunoda, as he was near the front of the tie. And then we had all sorts of carnage here. We had Marcus Armstrong hitting Aiden Jackson in a rather expected first lap collision. No one was really at fault. Which sent Armstrong to a spin. He hits Guilherme Sumaya, who then hits Guan Yu Zhou, and all sorts of carnage happens. And in all of it, Jack Aiken had a very unfortunate incident, hitting Pedro Piquet and losing his front wing. Amazingly, Armstrong went round with all of his car pretty much intact, whereas the other 2 had to pit. Fortunately, Jackson wasn't involved in that either, but Armstrong was very just unfortunate, really, just too much curve on the inside. And Jackson had the racing line and was ahead in the corner, so you really can't blame him for all that carnage that happened. But it'd be interesting to see how Jackson and Schumacher fare today, because they're on the final row of the sprint race grid in 7th and 8th. They are more or less now the runaway championship leaders, with Felipe Dragovic, who also finished out of position outside the top 10. So this is really just a weekend to just make sure he doesn't score. Callum Ilott probably won't be scoring from 20th either, so the championship contenders behind Jackson and Schumacher finishing outside the points, which means if they finish in the points today, they'll increase their championship lead over them. But if Jackson needs to beat Schumacher, he's 9 points behind Mick in the standings after losing 4 points in qualifying with Mick on pole, but also losing a further 5 points in the feature race. It would have been 7, but of course Jackson got 2 points for the fastest lap, as opposed to Formula 1, but it's just an added point. Well, it definitely is the definition of a sprint race today. Just 9 laps to decide the race winner. for this sprint race before we move on to tempo speed at Monza, which will incidentally be probably the fastest race on the calendar. Here got the 5 red lights saying green flag at the back for today's sprint race is just 9 laps. It's lights out and away we go, go, go. And Nikita Mazepin looks to have had a great start and he covers the outside immediately going into La Sauce. It's Robert Shwartzman that stays in second. He's got ahead of Matsushita. We all got round La Sauce safely in the feature race. Looks like we've done so here today. Mazepin leads, and it was Robert Schwarzman and Artem Markov side by side once again going into Eau Rouge. It's also the Eau Rouge side by side moments here. Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber, and now this time it's Matsushita that'll tuck in behind and make it 3 wide, no doubt, going down the Camel Straight. Schumacher was also 3 wide with Ticktum and Yuki Tsunoda. Dan Ticktum and Schumacher renewing their rivalry from Formula 3 Europe. Schumacher down the inside. Did he make it? We've cut away. Matsushita gets back into second. And Schumacher has only just passed Tsunoda. He didn't get ahead of Ticktum. Aiden Jackson's not made any positions from 7th. In fact, he lost one to... was it Dan Ticktum that had a great start? Or was it Tsunoda there? Because Jackson is one place... He obviously lost out to Schumacher, didn't he? At the start. So Schumacher, another great first lap for him. He's been really much known for that this season. And, well, we've all got through clearly enough. It's Jackson down the inside of Tsunoda already. And he's passed him. I don't think anyone's surprised. Stunning move there by Jackson once again. And but Schumacher's the only one he can't seem to pass at the moment this season. He's gone a little wide. He's going to lose out to Tsunoda in the following corner, but Jackson's going to hang around the inside and repass him for 7th place. So the one person that Jackson's not been able to pass this season is Mick Schumacher, and we'll kind of probably expect that today. But meanwhile, it's his teammate, Nikita Mazepin, who leads this race. We had a momentary yellow flag there, not sure how. Callum Ilott has driven, fallen to the back behind Piquet. Guan Yu Zhou is only 19th. Where is Dragovic? He's 11th, so he's still outside the points as well. So Schumacher and Jackson have had the perfect start to this race in terms of really just championship position. So at the end of the first lap, it's Nikita Mazepin who leads from Nobuhiro Matsushita. It's Artem Markov from Robert Schwarzman, Dan Ticktum, Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda, and Aiden Jackson, who's fallen behind Tsunoda again. So Tsunoda's really passed him somewhere. You can see it. But no doubt Jackson will fight back. He has no DRS. He probably wouldn't need it. Such as the overtaking talent. That is Aiden Jackson. He's down the inside. Tsunoda pushes him to the grass. Tsunoda pushes him into the grass. He knows what Jackson's capable of. He's read the rule book on that. But still, Tsunoda cannot resist Aiden Jackson. You can do whatever you want to him and he will still find a way past you. But great attempt there from Tsunoda, to be fair to him. That was a fair attempt. So let's have a look at the start then. Replay in Artem Markov. And Schwarzman got away really well to pass Matsushita, but it was Markov that made the best start. Down the inside of Schwarzman, almost into turn 1. And he actually made his way up to second there, but Schwarzman passed him later. This is a little bit later in the lap. After Eau Rouge, it's Matsushita that makes it 3 wide. Very much like Callum Ilott yesterday. It's almost 3 wide between him, Markov, and Schwarzman. And it's Matsushita that turns into the opportunist, passing both of them down the inside. And we all know that 3 wide can work, because we know from 2000 when Mika Häkkinen passed Michael Schumacher and Ricardo Zonta, I suppose, in his quest to win that race. Schumacher also made it 3 wide between himself, his former arch nemesis from Formula 3 Europe, Dan Ticktum, and I'm not sure whether it was around the outside, but there they are. It's the other. I've actually forgotten who it was. I'm very much having a memory lapse there. But anyway, it's Tsunoda, I think. And meanwhile, here was Jackson's manoeuvre on Tsunoda. He came from so far out. Tsunoda looking really slow around that corner, and Jackson he's getting gifted invitations to pass, isn't he? That was very much an easier move than you would have thought. So DRS is enabled then. That will help Matsushita. Jackson's already set the fastest lap of a 2:02 already on lap 3. Obviously DRS will help with that. Jackson needs all the points he can get because he still can't get ahead of Mick Schumacher on the track. He's still behind him now. So it's going to be probably between Matsushita and Mazepin for the win today. Callum Ilott is still last. Still no inroads game from Callum Ilott. He's definitely, like we said yesterday, he's definitely had the below par season to many people expected. Many people expected him to be near the front, and I think he expected to be near the front. That's probably one of the reasons why he signed for UNI Virtuosi. But unfortunately, they've not really been at the races this season. Virtuosi. Callum Ilott won the sprint race in Austria. I believe this has been his only race win of the season so far. Aiden Jackson once again right up to the back of Mick Schumacher. Will he be able to pass him today? Who knows? Mick Schumacher's been the one man that Jackson seems to struggle to pass. They did have almost a little battle yesterday down the Camel Straight, but Schumacher was able to hold him off, and that pretty much won him the race. Sprint race, we're all going to be entering lap 4 already. And, no move from Jackson there. So by Monza we should be expecting the Formula 1 2021 driver lineup to be filling into place. Mick Schumacher seems odds-on favourite to replace Kimi Raikkonen at Alfa Romeo should Raikkonen choose to retire, of course. No announcement of that yet. Mick Schumacher will be getting a run in Formula 1 in the practice session at the Eiffel Grand Prix. When Formula 1 returns to Nürburgring for 2020 in a revised calendar. And already now we're going to see a bit of a battle between Jackson and Schumacher here, because Jackson's got DRS. He's caught up to Schumacher, but nothing doing there, unfortunately. As for Aiden Jackson, who will get almost enough super license points to get a seat, should he finish second in the championship standings. I think Tsunoda, Jackson and Schumacher in particular need to finish within the top 6 in the standings to allow promotion to Formula 1 from next season. Heavy rumours that Yuki Tsunoda will take the place of I think it's Daniel Kvyat at AlphaTauri to be alongside Pierre Gasly next season. Could be a tasty lineup because Tsunoda has really proven himself this year. Matsushita, we're just biding his time. He needs to make a move, he needs to make it soon. Matsushita, the veteran here in Formula 2, he's got a few years under his belt. In the lower categories, never been really able to get the top seat. Maybe Mana, if they continued, maybe would have had a seat for him. Pascal Wehrlein was being courted there for a future Mercedes drive. That never happened for Pascal Wehrlein. It was rather unfortunate, to be honest. Pascal Wehrlein rather getting shafted down to Formula E, for lack of a better word. Well, it's these two again. It's Schumacher and Jackson, who have had all the headlines all to themselves this year, bar a few sprint feature race wins for other people. It's Leonardo Lacey that's kind of fallen off the wayside a little bit. He's down in P12. Roy Nassani, who's dropped to P13, he was 9th on the grid. Bogovic, the championship contenders, the third person in this battle, scoring no points. And now, it was Schumacher and Jackson down the Camel Straight again. DRS for both drivers. It's going to cancel Jackson's advantage out, unfortunately. Oh, and I think Jackson locked up there. Well, someone did. I think it was a small one, and they're able to continue. Well, there might be team play at Carlin here, because Tsunoda is the one nearest in the championship battle, so maybe Deruva will be told not to pass his teammate. Well, you can't really count on that for these young drivers. They want to all race for themselves and race for their futures. He's a Mazepin. Leading this race for Hitech GP. It's been his highest position of the season so far. And rumours are that he's in the running for the Haas seat most potentially. Haas have not confirmed their lineup yet. I think everybody's in kind of agreement that Haas will change their lineup completely. Their sponsorship deals in the last 2 years have not put them in financial security, so to speak. Some talk that maybe next year will just be a placeholder for them, really, as they prepare for the new cars. Obviously, the delay of the new cars has set Haas backy here, so Haas could be really struggling next year as they wait for the 2022 regulations. Maybe that's why they're changing their driver lineup, possibly. And some talk that Schumacher might even take one of those seats as well if Alfa Romeo don't take him. They are supplied by Ferrari, so I think the agreement that Alfa Romeo and Haas have in particular, or some form of, definitely at Alfa Romeo, I think Alfa Romeo always has one seat that Ferrari supply to one of their young drivers. Currently Antonio Giovinazzi is in it. So if Giovinazzi stays on, then where does that leave Schumacher if Raikkonen decides not to retire? Alfa Romeo seems the most logical step for Mick Schumacher at the moment. As far as the Mercedes seats are concerned, there's really nowhere for Aiden Jackson to go at the moment. Alex Albon, I think, was confirmed earlier in the year to be signing for Williams alongside Nicholas Latifi for 2021. So that leaves Jackson out of a seat for now, which is rather unfortunate, really. But I'm sure that Mercedes will take him on as one of their young drivers from next year onwards, probably give him a run or two in some practice sessions. So, of course, the new rules for 2021 will state that younger drivers and academy drivers must have an opportunity in 2 practice sessions to compete in those sessions. So maybe we'll be seeing Aiden Jackson in Formula 1 even if he doesn't have a race seat next year. Because right now, he seems Mercedes' best hope for their future at the moment. With all the performances Jackson's put in, I think it's a logical step, isn't it? Well, here today he's battling hard with Mick Schumacher, so hard that I think he outbroke himself there at the bus stop. And will that give impetus to Yuki Tsunoda then? Going into La Source? The answer to that, sadly, is no. Nikita Mazepin is kind of stretching out against Yokohama Mashishita. He's kind of pegged him down now. So Mazepin seems to be taking Hitech's second win of the year, following on from the magnificent performance of Aiden Jackson in the Silverstone feature race. Why do we say Mick Schumacher and not Robert Shwartzman as far as Ferrari is concerned? Well, Schumacher's leading the Drivers' Championship, so it makes sense. I think the winner between those two was always going to be in line for a seat on the F1 grid in a year or two. And currently it's Schumacher beating Shwartzman in the standings, so it's only really the logical option, as we said earlier. Callum Ilott absolutely nowhere in last place. There are rumours that Callum Ilott could be considering IndyCar as an alternative option. And that would certainly be a way to raise your CV. IndyCar is no mean feat. It is about as stunning as a sport as Formula 1 is, for very different reasons and very different characteristics of car and racetrack. It's definitely nothing to be sniffed at. It definitely can go on your CV as a crowning achievement. Mazepin still pegging Yuki Tsunoda as we enter the penultimate lap of the race, and not much has happened sadly since the start. We've had a bit of a procession. Unfortunately, this sprint race, that's been the case. But I think currently, as Jackson holds the fastest lap, he will get 4 points, and I think Schumacher will also get 4 points for 6th place. So there'll be no change in the championship standings, and the gap between Jackson and Schumacher will be staying at 9 points because no points would have been gained from either driver. Matsushita, is he close enough to use DRS? He is. Will he close him in on Mazepin? There's something going on further down the field. It's Schumacher and Jackson kind of sticking with each other again. Matsushita looking very much closer to Mazepin than he has lately in this race. Maybe he could be in for a last lap pass. He looks a lot closer this time. Matsushita's had a decent lap, Mazepin not so much. Certainly are closer on this lap around. Here's Markelov. Markelov, the wily old veteran himself. He's done very well this year, to be fair. I think there's other rumours that Dan Hitech could be taking a spot in the Williams Academy. That's another option for Jackson, but I think Mercedes will want to keep hold of him. I would not be surprised if Mercedes fight tooth and claw to keep Jackson on their books in some capacity in their future, because he is very much ready for Formula 1 already, Aiden Jackson, in my opinion. You know Schumacher's most likely going to be the champion, but anyone outside of that, you would talk about Aiden Jackson instantly. So here we are on the final lap then. Matsushita is as close as he's ever been to Nikita Mazepin. Now, DRS and the straight is too short, but maybe if Matsushita can get a decent run out of Eau Rouge, it could give him an opportunity here. He's a lot closer than he was previously. Mazepin was able to peg him, but now he's a lot closer. And he could go for a move here. Matsushita crosses the DRS activation line now. He will open the DRS. Will he go for a move down the inside? Mazepin knows what's coming. He pushes Matsushita to the grass. He gets back on the racing line. They're side by side. And Matsushita almost getting through there, but nothing doing. Is he going to... Oh, he has better speed out of the corner. This is side by side. This is like the feature race yesterday between Jackson and Tsunoda. Matsushita's gone through. Oh my word, great move by Nobuhiro Matsushita. Mazepin tried to cover it, but Matsushita stuck to his guns and he's passed him. And a last lap move by Nobuhiro Matsushita, the veteran of Formula 2. He knows how to win. He's not won in some time. I think it's been about a couple of years since Nobuhiro Matsushita last won an F2 race. It was probably GP2 back in that day. And now he's taking... Oh, and I think Jackson was looking at Schumacher around the outside there, I think, momentarily. But he decided against it. Nobuhiro Matsushita is pulling away. Has Mazepin shot his tyres out, perhaps, because he's now dropping? What a long way. I think Markelov might be given a chance to take second here. We've got to feel sorry for Nikita Mazepin. He did everything right. It's just that Matsushita had a great last lap. Comes round the final corner. It's gone by in a blur. It's only 9 laps. Nobuhiro Matsushita wins for the first time in probably about a year and a half to 2 years with a last lap dash toward Nikita Mazepin, passing him. And that was the only change in the order. But you've got to feel for Nikita Mazepin. He did brilliantly to hold the lead from the front. But it's Nobuhiro Matsushita who wins today. Another win for MP Motorsport. They've definitely been like the unsung heroes of Dragovic this year as well. Keep an eye out for him in the future as well. Aston Martin rumours are right, setting up a driver academy of their own in the near future. Dragovic could be one of their picks. Maybe Jackson as well. So as we said then, it makes no difference to the championship standings, really. Because all these drivers that are above Jackson and Schumacher weren't realistically in the championship picture. The only benefactor could be Robert Shwartzman though, because he was right on the tail of Dragovic at the standing, so he might have even overtaken him with that performance today. Artem Markelov gets an honourable mention today with his drive to third, and Schumacher and Jackson tie on 4 points because Jackson had the fastest lap. So that means that there's no change at the gap at the top between them. It will still be 9 points. Guan Yu Zhou and Callum Ilott certainly having below par days, and not a great day for Marino Sato either, falling down to 20th, and he started 17th, so those three have had really below par weekends. Shwartzman does pass Dragovic. In fact, Dragovic gets ahead of Callum Ilott as well, but they're now 30 points behind the top two, so they would need to win at Monza, probably just to keep their hopes alive at this point, with 2 venues to go. And unfortunately, I don't think there's still no point with Pedro Piquet, the only one left to score. All teams have scored, and Hitech now, with that double point finish, go ahead of UNI Virtuoso, who scored no points for the entire weekend, and that increases morale at Prema to grab yet another team's championship. It looks almost not in doubt. Well, it was a last lap effort for Leonardo Mastrosita that won him the Belgium sprint race today, and we head to Monza next. And what a great couple of races we had, as Antoine Hubert will live on in our memories forever. We go to the Temple of Speed when Formula 2 returns. See you at Monza.